extra, extra.
Yes! Brie, Michelle, Charlize, so amazing to be sitting here and talking with you guys. We're in Rome.
Yeah, we are.
What were your thoughts when you got the script and found out that Fast 10 was going to be in Rome?
Well,
how much of that is us there?
well, I knew from the beginning it was filming in London.
Yeah. I gotta say, whatever chance you can get to work with Second Unit, take it, because they have all the fun. They get to go to all the locations. Luckily, I got 1 day with them. Vin got a couple of days with them as well. And so, we're always just super grateful when we get to go out on the actual locations. But you guys weren't as lucky, right?
No.
Oh no! So you filmed other places.
Amazing.
Stages, yeah. This character has only lived in a stage. She is not allowed.
To be fair, bro, she's like a mastermind. She plays chess.
Yeah. She lives at a stage in London. We'll see how she does outside.
I'd stay down if I was you.
You'll need to hit me harder for that.
I have to say, I feel like I'm sitting with three very badass women. The only person we're missing is Helen.
Yeah.
What is that environment like to all be working together?
It's great. I wish we had more time with each other. To be fair, it's pretty hard. When you have such a big cast, to try to get everybody together in the sequences and make it make sense in the story. But, whatever time we did have, we definitely milked it as much as possible.
But it's funny. I was in Brazil, and Charlize was, I won't spoil it, somewhere else in the world. And then it was we're in the middle of our intense scene, pretending there's snipers around or whatever, and then she walked up and was like, "Hi, I'm done, I'm leaving." I'm like, "What?
Hi.
You were here? I didn't know you were here."
Yeah, we were shooting in that mountain about
right around
100
the
feet
corner.
away, made of ice.
No, you're standing on a car. I'm like, don't get down.
Oh, yeah,
I just want to say hi.
That's awesome.
Cavalry's here.
There are different scenes that, of course, you guys have with each other, very intense scenes. What is it like prepping for that? And all the fight sequences and...
Yeah, being on a movie before, that was very physical really helped. So I was working on D&D, so I gained 10 pounds of muscle for that. And that really helped, I got 2 months off, and then I was right back at it in prep for Fast and Furious. And she was doing the same thing, right?
Yeah.
You were on another movie. As a matter of fact, as soon as you left, the next day you were shooting your other movie. What the heck? She's a machine.
Is that hard to do, to switch from one to the next? And I'm sure your body has to be a certain way for one role and then different for another, and then the mindset.
Well, the base of it was physically, the base is the same, just strength. You're trying to get as strong as you possibly can so you can recover. And so I think the more you can have that, I now, as a producer, I really take ownership and saying, we're not doing this unless we get 3 months of prep. You have to have, that's when people get injured. And so it was nice. I came off 3 months of that, walked onto this, shot it out, and then I came to Rome and shot Olgar 2.
So you guys are in a lot of action films. Do you like the term action star?
I feel like action doesn't quite
Capture it.
Yeah, it's because it's not just action. It's when you break it down, it's way more intricate, and stunt work and action work and chases, and it's there's so much to it. So to just say that it's just action, I think is a disservice, because what we do is physical narrative. And I think that's the part that people miss. And I think that's the thing that people always look down on. They're like, oh, it's just a bunch of guys being... But it's the challenge in it is that you can tell a story through physical. And
I love it.
To do that not verbally is... I remember
it's very hard to do.
Yeah. The first time I met with George Miller for Mad Max, he was like, I don't want you guys to speak in this movie. And I was like, yes!
Yeah, that's so cool!
We speak a little bit in that movie.
That's awesome.
The idea that you can tell a whole
That's like a dream come true for me.
Well, you can tell a whole story just by using your body, which is amazing.
So there's a lot of adrenaline, do you feel, when you get and prepare for these scenes?
Yeah, I love it. Anytime I can push the choreography too is fun. It's you're dealing with a whole other language, like she was saying, and it's all about embodying that and as best you can.
The game's over, Dom. You lose.
Now, Now, Michelle, you are an OG in the Fast and Furious world. How do you talk to the newcomers as they, come on?
No,
as a
nothing
part
with
of the-
open arms, man. I'm
That's
like,
true.
I'm just literally like all about the more the merrier. And anytime I can see any woman in this industry kicking ass, I celebrate that. I'm doing the happy
That
dance.
is so true.
It's like-
The warmth that she greeted me on this movie, I don't know how many years ago, but we knew each other from before. She's a very unique person. Like there's a
True.
it's good. There's such a sincerity in your warmth that is really
And you have and your work ethic.
yeah.
Aw,
matters.
thank
I
you.
mean, we've been talking
and-
about stunts and stuff, and a lot of the time, like, we're all very committed to it because I also learned so much about myself and I love doing it. So I'll train really hard because I like it and I think it's an extension of what I'm doing. That's not for everybody. Some people don't want to test themselves in that way, and so you end up doing choreo with a double. But when you get to actually, like, if we're thinking of this as it's communicating without words, like, you need to be there with your partner, and that requires a lot of sacrifice and a lot of work. And you do that.
I was going to say you're gracious because this is your baby and you've been there from the beginning and you just, I'm just saying.
Dude, guys, I'm here, like it's all.
It's incredible because I feel like you can see that it shows on camera as well. And you mentioned
good.
you mentioned that you mentioned that you knew Michelle before. Did all of you guys know each other before?
We kind of met briefly as
We drank tequila at a barbecue.
yeah, where we were being introduced, because she was coming into the franchise, and so
Weird,
before
I
we.
was not invited to that party.
Well, you're as cold as ice in this movie.
You're like,
Just
I don't want to know
saying.
you.
No.
Do you have favorite movies of each other's?
Oh my
what a
God,
good
many.
question.
I like what she did with Atomic Blonde, and you
That's
as
really-
Captain Marvel,
that is
sick
really
as
true.
sick
I
as
like
hell.
Atomic Blonde.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks,
Really do.
guys.
Well, there's, it's just like
I like Girl Fight a
growing
lot.
up in this industry and like, seeing how little of us there are out there, just people who really enjoy the physicality of it, who really enjoy the interpretation of using it as an art form to express. It's rare. It's new. Like this whole thing of like girls kicking ass. I don't know if you've been around for the last 20 years, but it's like, it's not that old. I mean, if you take the exception of Terminator series and like the Alien series, you're pretty much, you got a couple TV shows like Cagney and Lacey or something like that, but like, it's not very common. And so, to have women that love it and really enjoy it like these two is just, I'm all arms open to that.
If you could recruit one badass woman to be a part or to be added to the Fast and Furious franchise, who would it be?
Sigourney Weaver.
Yes.
I love
Yes, that is
She's so
correct.
good.
Correct. That is the right answer.
She is so good.
Please.
Ding, 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 ding.
Who doesn't
Yeah.
love Sig, dude?
Oh, that's
and by
good.
the way, nonstop. She is just nonstop. She's always working. I love her.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's really, one of my huge inspirations.